It has been 4 months and 11 days since I ripped my arm about 80% off at the elbow. It has been 4 months and 10 days since I reattached the arm. It's been about 2 months and 10 days since I realized that the major damage that I'm still suffering from is actually my shoulder and the brachial plexus, because when my arm got caught in that sewer drain, it just pulled and yanked and detached the nerves in some place. Now, the MRI wasn't entirely conclusive. They're not really sure, because you can have an avulsion where the nerve is literally pulled out of your spinal cord and requires spinal surgery, which is very intense and very, scary and whatever. And the other thing is the central nervous system doesn't regenerate. So, like, if you have damage there, it just doesn't heal. It's also possible to have a tear or a pull or something along the line. And the good news is the peripheral nervous system, basically the nerves away from the spine, actually do regenerate. The problem is I went through the EMG, the nerve test, I went through the MRI, and none of it is conclusive. So now I'm scheduled to go back on April 1st to get another EMG, which I just found out cost me $1,000 out of pocket. So each MRI and each nerve test is $1,000 out of pocket. So let me tell you, if anybody tells you that motorcycles are a cheap and fun way to live, they are fun, but they are also incredibly dangerous, and they are the opposite of cheap, because as I realized, it's not a question of if you're going to wreck, it's a question of when. Then I go back in the middle of April and I talk to the surgeon. And what they're talking about right now is a nerve transfer. And this isn't like a transplant from one place to the other. This is where they take all the wires or all the nerves that are running through your arm and they reconnect them to different things. Because right now I have all the nerves that fire my trapezius or that fire my tricep or that fire my forearm, but I don't have any that are firing my bicep or my deltoids. So what they're thinking is like, okay, we'll take one from here and one from here and one from here. And the good news is that means they can actually restore function to whatever the area is. But the bad news is they're taking function away from somewhere else. So I might be at like 100% or 90% everywhere else and 0% on the deltoid and the bicep. But now all of a sudden I'm going to be at like 70% everywhere, or 60%, or maybe 90%. We don't know. And that's the problem. So I'm hoping that miraculously my arm just rewires and starts working before I get in there, because otherwise it's going to be a very kind of costly, very painful, very difficult surgery that's not going to show any results immediately. It's still going to take a year or 2 years to fully come to fruition.